Good afternoon. It is 6 p.m. We are going to call the meeting to order. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight for the special meeting. I want to remind you, if you have intentions on having comments, speaking during citizens to address the board, make sure you grab one of those slips on the back shelf, provide your contact information, and then give it to Sarah. At this time, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Sarah, would you do a roll call for us, please?
Cheryl Simonetti. Suba Reddy.
Here.
Elena Sharp. Here. Shalonda Hunt.
Present. Thank you. At this time, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Yes. Approve.
Say it.
I approve.
You approve?
Yep.
All right.
Support.
Support. We have a motion and support for the agenda. Any deliberation?
None.
Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 5, citizens requesting to address the board. At this time, we have Fred Trexler. Thank you. Followed by Gina Hastings and William Hastings.
I'm Fred Trexler. I live in Summit Township, Jackson Public School District. I think it's quite obvious that Mr. Dobies has done a very deceptive thing in putting into the superintendent's contract that he should be a member of the American Federated Principals Association, which is in the part of the ACLU, the labor union, and that the board was not aware of this. It's deceptive. It's a conflict of interest, and I think Mr. Dobies should resign as a result of it. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Trexler. Gina Hastings, please.
Good evening. I'm Gina Hastings, 1231 Highland Boulevard in the city. I would like to address the serious breach of trust by board member Derek Dobies, as detailed in the June 2nd, 2025 letter from Brendan Beer, JPS attorney. I call for Mr. Dobies' immediate resignation due to his unethical and deceptive actions. This incident is extremely alarming. We have evidence that on May 15th, 2025, at 8:53 p.m., Mr. Dobies covertly added a section to Mr. Patterson's contract, falsely stating that the superintendent is part of the American Federation of School Administrators. This is not true. Mr. Patterson is not affiliated with that group and had no knowledge of this addition to his contract. Mr. Dobies made these edits remotely by accessing a shared document, and the system's tracking confirms his unauthorized changes. This deliberate act of deception undermines the board's authority, violates its governance protocols, and jeopardizes the trust we must maintain with our new superintendent during this critical transition. Mr. Dobie's conduct, his undisclosed conflict, his fraudulent manipulation of the contract, demonstrates a profound betrayal of this board and our community. We cannot allow such behavior to continue, especially if we support Mr. Patterson's leadership following Jeff Beal's resignation. I propose that we request Mr. Dobie's resignation immediately. If he refuses, we must hold a new vote on the employment agreement, ensuring transparency and legal compliance. We owe it to the students, staff, and Jackson Public Schools to uphold the highest standards. I urge this board to act decisively tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hastings. William Hastings.
Good evening, Board. We all know why this special meeting is being convened tonight, so let's get kind of right to the heart of the matter. I believe that everything that the JPS Board needs to know in order to address the situation at hand is contained in the letter from Mr. Beer, which is as detailed and very specific as it is damning. And the only other thing you need recourse to is your own bylaws. So looking under the ethics section, board member ethics section of your bylaws, Section I, avoid being placed in a position of conflict of interest and refrain from using their board positions for personal partisan gain. Okay, that's a flagrant violation. J, take no private action that will compromise the board or administration and respect the confidentiality of information that is privileged under applicable or law. And I think that language in there says a lot about compromising the board or administration, because as this meeting begins, this is a Derek Dobie's problem. These are his actions which he committed. It has now been brought to the attention of the entire board and the administration. If we leave this meeting tonight and the board does not properly address these very unethical actions with the severity they deserve, at that point, it will no longer be his problem. It will be a board problem. And if there's one thing I could express to you is the importance of you have a duty not only to preserve the integrity and good name of the JPS School Board, which includes those who will come after you, okay? The same goes for the entire district. You need to protect the integrity and good name of the JPS Board District. And I know Mr. Patterson's just about to begin a new term as superintendent and hopefully be here for many years to come, but eventually there'll be another superintendent as well, other administrators as well. So this must be localized and dealt with the seriousness that it deserves. I am therefore calling on the board to ask for Mr. Dobie's resignation tonight. For anyone watching, the board does not have the power to remove him. You do have the power to ask for his resignation. Should he choose not to do so, the board should, in my opinion, send a request to the governor, Whitmer, who is empowered to remove rogue school board members. She does have the legal discretion authority to do that. And again, if he does not step down, I think you should immediately look to strip him of his position as vice president of the board. And he would also be in need of public censure. I think the fact he's in there, well, but to go back to the the nub of this, the language being inserted and attaching the name of a professional group attached to the AFL-CIO. Just so everyone here clearly understands, because there's some people who do not know this, Derek is not just an employee of the Michigan AFL-CIO. He is the chief of staff. He's the number 2 person in the entire statewide organization. He has one report, one direct report, and that is Ron Bieber, who's the head of the union. So this isn't just some guy. This isn't some local yokel down at, union shop number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, which again, given the nature of the insertion in here that was done without the knowledge of Mr. Patterson, it makes it even more grave. So I'd just like to add I think the fact that Mr. Dobies isn't here tonight, as I said, as this very powerful figure, he controls his own schedule. He controls his own schedule. He chose not to be here, in my opinion. And I think he'd like nothing better than to drag this out, than to have time to lobby you guys, plead with you, schmooze a little, try to turn on the charm, however you want to do it, in order to avoid the consequences. I think you need to deal immediately and firmly with this, with the issue at hand tonight. And by the way, if the section I read about board ethics isn't enough, the subsequent section of your bylaws deals specifically with conflicts of interest. If you read through those carefully, again, on one side and this on the other, it will tell you the severity of what has occurred and should strongly inform you as to what your next actions should be. And I really, really do not want to see, I'm excited to see Mr. Patterson starting very soon as superintendent. There shouldn't be anything that hangs as a ethical cloud over him or JPS or the board.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. I saw some individuals come in. Is there anyone else that would like to speak during this time? We will move forward to agenda item number 6. I would entertain a motion for the Board of Directors to go into closed session to discuss the superintendent's contract as it specifically relates to the language.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This time we will go into closed session.
re-enter open session.
Support.
All right. We have met, and I, as the board president, will like to make a motion that the board approve Mr. Patterson's contract as previously ratified by the board on May 20th, 2025, with the exception of the language located in paragraph 9 of the agreement as to the American Federation of School Administrators, which shall be deleted from the contract.
So moved.
Any deliberation?
Support. Good.
Motion, support, any deliberation? Anyone, any comments? All right, hearing no deliberation, all those in favor of removing the language from Superintendent Mr. Patterson's contract, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we would entertain an adjournment.
Madam President,
Yes.
before we do that, I make a motion that we remove Derek Dobies from his position as vice president on this board and make him ineligible to run for any office for the remainder of his term.
Support.
We have a motion on the floor, support, any deliberation?
I feel pretty strongly that I have no further trust in Mr. Dobies. And I would really question anyone who would approve of him maintaining his role as vice president. He's violated the ethics policy. He's violated the conflict of interest policy, to say the very least. So that's my reasoning.
Thank you, Ms. Simonetti. Yes, come forward. Can you come on the microphone for us, please, for those listening in?
I think the board, can consider whatever action it would like to take. But what I would suggest is that because this was called as a special meeting with a very specific purpose, and there was not notice provided within the publication that this would be an agenda item, that this be saved for a regular meeting of the board at another time, rather than being taken up today. That's what I would suggest.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Brendan. Based on,
We haven't alerted, obviously, Mr. Dobies was aware of the meeting, was not able to attend, but more importantly, public at large is not aware that this is a potential issue for the meeting, and it's not a regular meeting. It is a special meeting that was called for a specific purpose, and I would stick to the purpose within the agenda. That's all I have to say.
thank you, legal counsel. I would make a new motion that, based on a special meeting being called, and it was, when a special meeting is held, just for the community to be made aware, it is convened only for 1 or 2 businesses to be specified in the notice of the meeting. And to echo what Mr. Brendan has just made mention of, there is not an agenda item on here to discuss how the issue with the contract should be addressed further. So at this time, I would entertain a motion that the board, those that are represented here tonight, give consideration to move this to an agenda item for our June meeting, at which point we would have a full board present for further discussion.
I move that we move this agenda item to a discussion/action item for the June agenda.
Support.
Motion and support. All those in favor? Any discussion?
Yes, so based on the recommendation from legal counsel, I would accept that amendment.
Thank you, Mrs. Simonetti. Thank you, Mr. Reddy and Mrs. Sharp. Now that the deliberation has taken place, all those in favor? At this time, we're going to approve the amended motion that has been supported. So coming June, at our next scheduled regular meeting, we will have this on as a discussion/action item. And anyone, and all those in favor of that, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, we will move that agenda item to our June meeting. We just put on the amendment. For the new motion to be finalized, all those in favor of the new finalized motion?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the agenda item will be moved to our June regularly scheduled meeting for further discussion. Moving forward to agenda item number 8, adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
meeting has been adjourned. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to the meeting. We are meeting again in June for our regular scheduled meeting.